Forever Dog.
This is a promo for Forever Dog Plus, Forever Dog's very own premium subscription service that offers access to ad-free versions of your podcast.
Yes, Forever Dog Plus is here. Hey, listeners, this is your folks over at Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood, and we got some dope news. Forever Dog just launched a low-cost premium subscription service called Forever Dog Plus, because, you know, everybody got a plus nowadays, where you can listen to ad-free versions of your favorite podcast from Forever Dog Podcast, including ours. That's right, my folks. You can listen to all of our stuff without ads, only on Forever Dog Plus.
Forever Dog Plus is simple and easy to use. You go to foreverdogpodcast.com/plus. You sign up, they send you a link to automatically opens up in your preferred podcast app. And before you know it, you've got access to over 3,000 hours of ad-free listening and counting.
Wow, that sounds crazy. And Forever Dog Plus is not only convenient, it's affordable, y'all. Listen, we know money is tight, but for the low price of $4.99 monthly or $39.95 for an entire year, you can listen to Forever Dog podcasts you love nonstop and ad-free. That's $4.99 a month or $39.95 for an entire year.
And that's not all. If you sign up before October 19th, you'll qualify for a special founding members discount of 10% off for as long as you remain a member. That's a 10% off lifetime discount if you sign up before October 19th. And you get to call yourself a founding member.
All right, now, okay, well, let's break it down. I know you guys are like, what? There's got to be something to this. Now, let's say you sign up for Forever Dog Plus and you're listening for a few weeks and you're loving the ad-free fees, but you're like, hey, Forever Dog, what else you got? Well, don't worry, because there's more member benefits on the way, including advanced access to episodes, members-only content, merch discount. Oh, you can get some of our pillows and book bags and t-shirts, because we got all that. Anyway, whatever Forever Dog can dream up to make Forever Dog Plus podcast lovers paradise.
So go to foreverdogpodcast.com/plus or just follow the link in the show notes and sign up today to lock in that founding members discount and start listening to all your favorite Forever Dog podcasts nonstop and ad-free.
Forever Dog Plus. New jingle. Y'all welcome.
Wow.
Forever Dog.
He's the new Big Bang. He's the new Thanos?
He is, if they do it right. He's the
What?
New, yeah, he's like the new dude.
My man just got a 10-year contract.
Honestly, he's playing Kang. So
Man,
I mean,
I'm done. This is my last entertainment thing I'm ever gonna do. This episode of the podcast.
you say this all the time. I mean, we could talk
No,
about
it's
that.
true now though. Now it's true. I said it before, but now I'm saying it for real.
No, man, listen, it's dope. To me, it's like, you know, you got Yara as Tinkerbell, which is cool. You got Aldous Hodges as Hawkman, which also Hawkman should always have been a black person because it's dealing with Egyptian gods. So why was that not a black person in the first place? And you got Jonathan Majors as like Kang the Conqueror. Also, these black people had to be great to get these parts. So, you know, it wasn't like when they cast and this is no shade, because I love Chris Hemsworth. I know he was like
Yeah, I
a
was
big
just about
dude.
to say, who have they cast that? But then Chris Hemsworth was definitely.
I mean, like, again, like, don't get me wrong. It's like, for sure, I know he definitely worked in Australia, but, you know, he got a whole Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like, what? I mean, even Chris Evans, to an extent, like, he definitely was making movies, but he definitely had a lot of bombs. And they're like, all right, we're going to give Captain America to you.
Well, if you're talking about bombs, I mean, what's his name had bombs too. What's his name?
Who?
Why can't I think of his name?
Robert Downey?
No, Falcon.
Oh, Anthony Mackie?
Yeah, Anthony Mackie. He had plenty of bombs.
Yeah, but Anthony Mackie ain't the lead. Anthony Mackie is a sidekick.
Man,
Marvel. What? He a sidekick. Like, the sidekick can do whatever.
All right,
like, he ain't the
you're
lead.
right.
He ain't the lead, dude. But it's just funny because I'm like, now I'm loving all these black people getting nominated, but I'm also like, I mean, not getting nominated, getting all these dope parts, but it's also, these are black people who have like definitely been around for a while, have been considered really, really
Right.
good. These aren't like
They've been in the industry, making an impact, making waves.
Wow.
honestly,
Don't honestly.
okay. No. okay, I get it. Because that fits the conversation. He, I thought we were going to continue about how the black people are like, making.
Yeah, no, we can continue.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I was just saying these are the black people who are doing their thing. They're putting their stamp on. They're making waves.
Honestly, it fits, James. I'm sorry, it fits.
It does. It does fit. You're right.
But it doesn't excite me. You know what I mean? It's like it works, but
it doesn't excite
you. What really excites me? You know what really excites me? Tidal waves.
Okay. All right.
He's like, all right, I can figure out how he's gonna put waves in there.
Riding waves.
All right, okay. All right. And I think it's time to start the show.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can't jump.
In Hollywood.
Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Is Tyler's girlfriend in that?
Oh no! Oh no! Stop it!
Was Tyler here?
Stop!
Where's Tyler?
Stop! I can't.
Yo, this movie is
That's
so
your
bad.
impression?
Where's Tyler? Is Tyler?
I don't like your impression.
Yo, I don't like it.
Is Tyler's?
Yeah.
Is Tyler's girlfriend in?
The thing is,
you
sound like him, but that sounds like a slave. But that also sounds like we're watching a slave movie. I was like, this. People are so confused.
Sterling got that voice. Everything he's saying is, she in there? Like, you feel the spirit flowing through him with every line.
You're putting a little bit of some little accent on it that does not right.
He's a Tyler's.
No, he ain't say no. He didn't say it's a Tyler.
All right.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Jerah, you didn't say quarantine city, but we're still in it.
Listen, man, I was going to say.
I jumped straight to it. I'm sorry.
I said Hollywood City. I was going to say quarantine city, but I realized that a lot of people I know are not quarantining. So I don't know the state of the world. I know
Hollywood is back, baby. Hollywood is open.
Like productions are in. But not even that. I got friends who legit, if I go on IG, I had to unfollow because they just posting stuff from house parties and like just mad, just niggas in their house. I'm like, yo, how does this work? How y'all just out here? I know this person just got off the plane. I saw their IG story of them flying. Now they in your house.
Just got off the plane.
Like, I know this isn't right. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
But I wish this was a bit. I wish this is like real.
No, because
because
in America, there is no coronavirus.
That is true.
We got to be honest. There is no coronavirus. All these cases are fake. Don't wear a mask.
That's what we test the most. So that's the reason why we got the most cases. Not, we test more than every other country.
Yeah, because it's like if you test, then you're gonna find out that somebody has it. So
exactly.
Stop. We tested too much.
Exactly. So we shouldn't test.
Yeah, I'm at a house party right now. Y'all, they can't see me. The people listening can't see me, but I'm at a house party right now. It's mad people up in here.
Oh yeah.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G.
Oh,
okay.
That's just what I think of whenever I think of
John, let's go back to the podcast.
For those who are listening for the first time and say, what is this? And somehow still are listening. This is a film review podcast. We review films of leading black actors.
Yeah.
Talk about them in the context of race and diversity in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
And today we are reviewing the film Waves. It came out in 2019,
baby. 2019.
Honestly, it feels like this movie came out like 3 years ago and it just came out late last year.
Dude.
That's because of how slow time has moved. Yes, it stars former guest of the podcast. Kelvn Harrison Jr. As well as Lucas Hedges, Taylor Russell, and Sterling Kane Brown. And what else is there to say about this movie? In the box office, it only cost. Actually, it doesn't say how much this movie cost to make. It only made $2.5 million worldwide. I feel like it must have cost more than that to make. Do we know how much this?
No, I don't. It's so funny.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, it's not anywhere.
They don't need. Nobody needs to know.
What's this girl?
Like,
Alexis?
look, we made 2.5. We good. All right. Don't get your hand out of my pocket.
Alexis Dumas.
It was definitely a movie that was like submitted for Oscar awards, but it I don't think it was nominated for anything.
No, I mean
it has mad
by the Academy.
Yeah, by the Academy.
Like,
no,
by the Academy. Like a lot of independent. Like it's got a bunch of Black Reel Awards nominations, Hollywood Critics Association. Yeah, those are the two biggest ones.
I think Kelvn won. Well, he was nominated for like a British crap. He got some nomination out of this. But it's funny because even talking about this movie, and I know Bray's going to like break down the plot. It's funny because I feel like on this podcast, we always at some point go, yeah, man, we just need a movie about a Black dad just trying to keep his life, just trying to keep his family together. Like, that's just the crux. And like, that is kind of what this movie is about. And the fact that no one really spoke about this movie in a way, I just really want to talk about. Because watching this movie, I'm like, this is the movie that if this is a white cast, Timothy Chalamet.
If this was a white cast, it would have gotten every Oscar.
If this would have gotten
every Oscar, all of the actors would be Oscar-winning actors. All right, it's fine.
Yeah. Hope Bray, you want to tell us what it's about?
I mean, Lucas Hedges is the poor man's Timothy Chalamet. He's in those movies too.
That's true, but my thing is,
but they were like,
he wasn't Kelvin's character.
And they were like, we'll get Lucas on something else. Like he'll get his. Like we don't got to give it to him for this because he's doing Honey Boy.
Same year as Honey Boy.
he's doing Honey Boy. We can talk about him in Honey Boy. Like it's even though Honey Boy, did he get nominated for that? I don't think so.
He didn't, but he was up for like I think a Spirit Award because like. No. Shia got all the love. Shia and the little boy got all the love for Honey Boy. Yeah. Even though Lucas sounded just like Shia in that movie.
Yo, Lucas in Honey Boy? Can we just talk about that?
No, we're talking about this one.
Man.
This movie, before we even get to it, it
has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. 85%. So that's, the critics liked it. I will say there are some of these types of movies that I don't know if they get, like, is it About a Boy?
About a Boy.
Lucas Hedges has so many nominations that he has a separate Wikipedia page for just his nominations already. You know how many people don't have that?
Sorry.
Who are you talking about?
Not About a Boy. What's the...
Lucas Hedges.
Oh, are you talking about that movie where the boy, like, goes from being 10 to, like, 20 in the same movie, Bray?
Are you talking about
Boy Erased? Boyhood. I'm talking about the movie with Timothy Chalamet and Steve Carell.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about Timothy Chalamet again.
Beautiful Boy,
Timothy Chalamet. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm still on Lucas Hedges. There's a separate page for his awards and nominations.
Lucas Hedges.
Yes,
that's an indie darling.
I like Lucas Hedges. I'm just generally upset about this.
Well, I think the thing that's really interesting about this movie is that this movie, to me personally, when I think, and I really want to talk about Kelvn a lot, when I think about the part that he played, my man was acting his ass off in every scene, dog. Like, and the thing when I watch this movie is like, it makes me question what kind of role really, I know we talk about this a lot, but what kind of roles really are the Academy and people who vote expecting us to have? Like, it just feels like this was a dude who was in school. It was about a family, middle class, not really about their race, just trying to deal with some stuff. And I feel like because it wasn't about their race, this changed how this movie was viewed to people. You know what I mean? I felt like this movie would have been about like, I hate to say it, this movie would have been about like some messed up black dude who's like struggling, and it was like racism in the school because he's like the only black dude and he's got to deal with being black on the wrestling team, and he got a white girlfriend, but then this goes wrong, and then they're like, oh, how could this black dude come in the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. We let him in and now he done did this to one of our own. I feel like then this movie would have got nomination. But because it wasn't about that, like, I mean, again, I think about the same, like this felt like how when I watch Amandla, it's like, I have seen white actors do parts that are good, but are fine.
There is a separate... I'm so mad. I'm sorry. I know we got to talk about this movie.
But it's like, it's something about this movie that is very unsettling for me. And we get to it, but it's like something about it really, really bothers me. Whether it's like the white guy who wrote and directed it and it was about his family, but had a black family do it instead. Like, I just need to figure out what the disconnect is, because there's so many, like, again, Lady Bird. I will bring up Lady Bird to the end of goddamn day. Not saying it's bad, but Lady Bird is a story that I'm pretty sure when you watch the beginning scene, she wanted to go to college. We knew she was going to New York to go to NYU. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew that was going to happen. And like, that movie got all these awards. The actors got so many awards. But this movie, they got nothing. Like, they got nothing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Lucas Hedges is in that too.
Well,
is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
And so is Timothée Chalamet.
Wait. Jeez, sweet Christmas. Never mind.
Since 2016, since Manchester by the Sea, Hedges has been in every... 2000... Oh, my good. Okay, I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
Oh, snap. We got a sponsor. Y'all, this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew.
Hey, hold up. Y'all remember the days when y'all were just ready to go? Y'all remember those days?
What talking about? What you talking about ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go for what?
To go.
You know, like when you're ready, when it's like you and your special person and you're like ready to go. You know?
This morning? Now, you can increase your performance.
We didn't need this. Nobody needed it.
I'm just trying to help out our listeners, okay? If our listeners want, they can increase their performance and get the extra confidence in bed by going to BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue.
Wow, Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis.
You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises.
I don't like that. Listen,
why you keep laughing?
Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package.
They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships directly, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. No awkwardness. You don't have to leave the house.
Okay.
I mean, right now we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code Hollywood. Just pay $5 shipping.
Okay, so you said BlueChew.com with the promo code Hollywood, and you get to try it for free?
Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice. We thank them for sponsoring the podcast. Remember, when you support our sponsors, you help make this podcast possible, so please be sure to use our promo code Hollywood at BlueChew.com.
Hi. I feel like I'm like popping up out of a gopher hole. Hi. Hello. This is Lindsay and Kelly from the Teen Creeps podcast, and we want to let all Forever Dog listeners know that Mint Mobile is introducing their unlimited data plan for just $30 a month.
Go ahead and let that sink in.
How much are you getting charged now? Huh? Let us guess. Way too much?
Probably. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings onto you.
All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Oh my God, I just imagined a world where I couldn't keep my contacts.
And then you'd be like, I don't know anybody anymore. If you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee.
We both use Mint Mobile. My best friend uses Mint Mobile. Your mom and sister use Mint Mobile. I have experienced absolutely no difference. I may as well be on the same service I was before.
Nothing but joy, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. I'm screaming about it to everybody.
Break up with Big Wireless and switch to Mint Mobile's premium unlimited data plan for $30 a month.
And make sure to check out the ultimate YA Pulp Fiction podcast, Teen Creeps. That's our podcast. Every Wednesday, right here on Forever Dog. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $30 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Hollywood.
That's mintmobile.com/Hollywood.
Hey, Forever Dog listeners, it's Jonathan Braylock
Jerah Milligan.
And James III.
from Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood. This year, we have seen what staying silent can do. And right now, you have an unprecedented opportunity to speak up, cast your vote, and be heard.
It's never too early to register to vote, but it might be too late before you know it.
We want to help make it easy for you to register and have a plan for November 3rd or before if early voting is an option in your state so that your country can finally reflect your values.
Yes, go to foreverdogpodcast.com/vote to register. Check on your registration often. You should do it like every day to make sure and learn how to fill out your ballot.
I don't know about every day, but listen,
Every day.
all right, still register.
Good. Am I good? All right.
Gotta make sure people care.
All right, each state is different, so make sure you're following local rules and regulations. And remember, your voice, your vote. That's foreverdogpodcast.com/vote.
Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
Yeah, but y'all better vote.
All right, go vote. We're talking about waves and what else? Anyway, yes, this movie. This is a strange movie because it's essentially two films in one. We have the story that follows Kelvn Harrison Jr.'s character up until a little like midway, a little past midway, and then we have a story that talks about Taylor Russell's character. And so, yeah, it's like kind of two movies in one. So what else is there to say? There's nothing else to say. We should do initial thoughts.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I loved it. I thought this movie was so good. I thought it was acted so well. I thought it was long. I thought it was long. But I guess for me, it's like, it was nice to... it was rough. This movie was rough. But the performances alone, I thought were like really, really good. And the fact that it was about this Black family kind of like dealing with grief and like watching Sterling K. Brown be kind of aggressive, but then hear his reasoning for it, but then see him break towards the end of the movie. What's the sister's name? Russell. I had never seen her before.
Taylor Russell. Yes,
Taylor
you have.
Russell.
No, I'm just
And
kidding.
what?
Taylor Russell.
Oh, you didn't see it. You didn't do Escape Room. You didn't do
Oh
Escape
no, I
Room
wasn't here
with us,
for
right?
that. Oh, she was in that.
Yeah, Lost in Space. Have you seen that show?
Oh, wait, how old is she?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's great in Lost in Space.
She's great.
I've
She's
definitely
my
seen that.
new favorite actress now. I love her.
I
She's
have-
fantastic.
I have never seen a person, and like again, I have no siblings, so I don't know that attachment. But watching her in this movie, I legit every time she came on screen, I was like, I feel a sweetness, and I'm like, I feel like I'm related to you. I was like, oh, I felt like watching whatever that sibling is, and I was like, oh, this is great. Again, this movie just made me mad because I think they deserve so much more than they got. So, but I enjoyed it a lot.
All right.
Cool.
I'll just say, y'all know I don't like movies like this. The movie made me mad. I thought it was very well made. I thought the acting was really fantastic. They mention, they never say black, but they mention race only once. And, they kind of try to make that, they kind of try to fuse it into like why the dad pushes him so hard. But like even that was like, I don't know. I do generally like that, like this essentially good kid, gets just goes down the wrong path and ends up killing his girlfriend and going to jail for life. Like it's like this interesting, like, You know, we don't see someone. He's not a banger. He's not, you know, like he's like a great wrestler, and he was just pushed too hard. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and like I kept feeling weird about. What the thing that you said, Jerah. I kept feeling weird about like, dang, is this like about was this originally supposed to be white people and they just like cast black people and then threw in that one line about the world doesn't care about you, and then they were like, we're good to go, you know, like there was something a little weird about it, but generally enjoy the presentation. But like I said, like these kinds of movies are always hard for me to watch. Halfway through the movie, I was just like, fuck this movie. I don't want to watch the rest of this. How dare you do this to me? And I guess that's what they want you to feel. So,
yeah, man, it's interesting. I don't know if I love this movie. There were things about it that I definitely liked, and there were things about it that were tough. Art house films are hard. I'm just gonna say that off the bat. And you know, there's a lot of, especially this type of art house film, which is like, wow, the cinematography is beautiful. The shots are incredible in almost every scene. And then a lot of times I personally feel like they overpower the actual storytelling. They're not there to necessarily aid it. You know, sometimes they're there to just be like, look at this incredible shot that we just got. And I'm like, yeah, that is an incredible shot. What are we talking about though? Like, what's actually happening? What are the emotions at play? What are the themes we're exploring? How does this shot aid that? You know, that said, that's true. That's just true of this genre. So I'm not gonna like fault the movie for that much. But I do think this is different than Lady Bird, because Lady Bird is like a movie that is capturing a very specific experience, whereas this movie, the experience it's capturing is a little bit harder to relate to because of what happens in it. Like, very few of us have killed someone, and very few of us are like closely related to somebody who's killed someone. You know, that's a pretty unique experience. So it was so tough because it was like, there was a part of me that was like, oh man, I can see this pushing. Like, I understand the, like, you know, this is a theme that's been explored in other movies, and this movie does, you know, somewhat well, of like, oh, there's this a black father who's pushing his son because he's like, the world is going to treat you, you know, harshly, and so you need to, like, you know, have this outer shell. You need to be better than the white person, you know, next to you, because if you're not, then nobody's going to give you anything, this and that. So I do get that to an extent. Like, I kind of understand him, like, not telling his parents about the injury, not telling his parents like that he got a girl pregnant. But like, I feel like there's more to this. I feel like just like he was pushed too hard feels a little too simplistic, which is what the story I think is telling. But I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's like it's hard for me to buy that, because it was like, well, and also it wasn't just that. It was like his mom passed away. We don't really learn that too much about that, but clearly there was some trauma there. And he's like, you know, he's drinking a lot. Like, he's a heavy drinker. He's taking, I think painkillers. You know what I mean? Like, he has an explosive kind of rage. And I don't know. It was tough. Like, anyway, let's talk about it. I also, this is two different movies, and I think that was like a very unique thing to do, but it's hard. It's like, there are reasons why movies generally have one protagonist, you know, like to have a movie that essentially has two protagonists, like, and not two protagonists throughout the whole movie, but like one protagonist in the first half and then a different protagonist in the second half. Like, it does connect, but it's tougher to watch.
I liked it because of the fall.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's interesting because even just talking about, you know, Kelvin's character, what was the character's name? Tyler. It's something so interesting because one of our friends, like one of our best friends, Dave, is friends with Kelvin, and I guess was here for the filming of this movie. So I've heard about it. I heard about it like a year and a half before it came out, and just everything that went into it. And like the director Trey, wrote it based around like kind of his upbringing a little bit, like just like his dysfunctional family. But because he had worked with Kelvin on, I think It Comes at Night. Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah, it comes at night.
It Comes at Night. Like him and Kelvin got close. So he actually wrote the movie for Kelvin. Like apparently Kelvin was a wrestler and stuff like that. And I think what is so interesting about it is that, again, this is a middle-class Black family dealing with something that's very tragic, right? And I feel like these tragic kind of movies that start off simplistic is usually for like white actors. And when I think about Kelvin in particular and just his performance when it comes to, I guess for me, like him going to the extreme, I guess for me is like, I kind of do understand it. If your mother has died, if your dad is, clearly borderline abusive or probably like fully abusive when it comes to like mentally and verbally. Trying to be the number one athlete, trying to get this college scholarship. He's still kind of cool. And to me, it's like him doing drugs and drinking and stuff. It's like, as far as like my high school, we was lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like we was lit a lot of the time. So like, to me, like I understand that. And then the fear, like I was telling my partner watching this movie, my greatest fear in high school as a young adult was getting someone pregnant. Like that is, it was not an STD. It was not getting shot. It was getting someone pregnant. And so I understand everything falling at the same time. And then seeing, and again, I'm not defending him because I think, yes, he definitely had rage problems. I'm not defending that in any way. I'm not defending how he treated her. It's just like, I do understand the idea of you feeling like you have no control over what is about to happen with your life at all. You know what I mean? And then having the fear of having to tell your dad that, the feeling of like, oh, I have no clue what to do even up to this point because I broke my shoulder and I can never wrestle again, the only thing I've ever known. So I get it. And then also how the death went down is wild. You know what I mean? Like how that went down was wild. Especially after getting smacked in the face so many times, I'm like, oh shit. So actually, I understand it's not super relatable, but I think performance-wise and story-wise, like Manchester by the Sea ain't fucking relatable. Like, there's something about Kevin isn't relatable. It's just like for some reason these extreme movies, Little Miss Sunshine is not relatable. Who the fuck just goes in a goddamn van across country to get a little girl and you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a disconnect, man. There is a disconnect sometimes with these young Black actors in these movies where when I look at their counterparts that are white, people love these fucking kids. And it's not the same. It's just not the same. I don't even know where I was getting at with that. Just something about it bothers me. Like it really, really. And Kelvin is like an American actor. Like he's an American Black dude who's acting his ass off and he's not getting the credibility that, even if he was
American,
he is. He's from the South.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I don't. Man, where's David Oyelowo?
But Timothy's from fucking New York. Like, Lucas is from New York. That kid in Lady Driver.
Right. And I just feel like that's better. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I get this is a bit, but this bothers me to such an extent. It does. It really, really does because this kid wasn't he wasn't a Disney actor. He wasn't one of these Yale dudes. He was just a fucking really good Black actor who booked stuff for being good. Like that is how this kid got to be where he is. He was a good actor, dude. You know what I mean? Like that shit, I don't know, it's like discouraging almost. Like even when I think of Sterling K. Brown is an American Black actor who we now know who's done a bunch of bit stuff over the years and then 3-4 years ago had a solid ass year.
The whole time I was watching this movie, I was thinking about how him, Brian Tyree Henry, Andre Holland, I've seen all of them on stage making, just a few $100s a week, like acting their ass off, doing really good theater. And like, they're only just now I'm talking about years ago, like a decade ago, and they're only just now. People are like, oh yeah, I've seen them in, it's crazy.
We're talking about Regina
wild.
King. Like Regina King ain't been around for umpteen years. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about, honestly, Sterling K. Brown. Think about Sterling K. Brown. For real. Has won Emmys on Emmys, has been nominated in the upcoming years. My man popped out of nowhere so much so that people are like, oh, this guy's the next best thing. Hosted SNL, did a monologue, a comedic monologue, cried in the comedic monologue just to prove how good of an actor he is. And my man still doesn't have a franchise yet. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
crazy.
My man still doesn't have the act. Like he still doesn't have the stuff that I'm telling you, if he was a white dude, he would get, yo.
But he's a character actor.
But even character actors be popping up in like,
he was in Black Panther.
for like a minute. My thing is, if he, my man should be leading movies on a basis that is different than it is now. My man should be in Dune.
I don't disagree with you. Like I remember. Like it was weird to me. I mean, I thought it was great that Sterling was in Black Panther. Like that was dope as hell. But I was like, oh man, he's in 2 scenes. Like I was like that was frustrating to me. I was like mad. I was like, but that's Sterling K. Brown. But then who knows with that? Like it could have been scheduling with This Is Us or whatever. Like any number of things could have led to that. But I agree. I strongly feel like my man should just be the lead of like so many movies, and he's not, and it's frustrating.
I just don't think.
He might be soon.
I'm looking at his IMDb, and the thing is, I think I don't know, man. I just honestly, and we talked about this when we did Moonlight, and we talked about it when we did what was it Beasts of No Nation? Is that the name of it? These kids.
Yeah.
That's right. Like these actors aren't treated the same, man. They just aren't, yo. And it's something about it bothers me because I'm like, at the end of the day, what will it take? Does it take having to be like a good actor, but then also so socially loved that you now can like get into this next big thing because now, yeah, you're good, but your social following is so huge that like, you're like a trendsetter in this way. Because even the daughter, like, yes, we're talking about her being in Escape Room. She's really good in
which is going to be a franchise.
Yeah, I hope that they
they're making
do
Escape
it
Room
right.
too.
Like I hope that she. Yeah, I know. I'm saying I hope that they do it right, and she's a Sydney and is just in all of the movies and not like they could kill her at the start of the next Escape Room or something. And I just hope they don't. Her and that other guy. They need to survive all of them, like the trio in Scream. Like they just need to be alive in all of them. And I will watch all of the movies.
Yeah, she needs to be she needs to be like what's her name in Alien or
Ripley.
Or,
100%.
Ripley in Alien or Halloween with
Jamie Lee.
Jamie Lee Curtis. But they can't. But they can't pull that bullshit where they chop her head off and then they can't do that.
And then she come back.
They can't do that bullshit.
I mean, even thinking about the actress who, and I know I'm late on Braylock is gonna make fun of me. I'm late on the Hamilton train, but even Renee.
Oh, that's right.
Like for instance, like when I think about her and I think about the actors from Hamilton that are everywhere. All right. How can I say this?
But Leslie Odom Jr.
But okay. I want to bring up Leslie. Okay. As far as movies and TV, right? The ones from Hamilton who you see predominantly are not the I don't want to make this a colorism thing, so let me not. They're not the browner ones. You know what I mean? They're just not. Like I don't know what they're just not.
Wait, but this actress is lighter than, or is just as has the same skin tone as like Daveed Diggs.
Pause as Jerah Googles.
Jerah looks up
and compares both.
Leslie Odom Jr. is in a fair amount of stuff. He was in.
He is. He's about to be Sam
is he?
Cooke. I'm very excited for that. My man's about to be Sam Cooke.
He was in the movie. He was in that Murder Train, or Murder on the Orient Express movie. You know, he's one of the leads of the Central Park animated series. He was in Harriet Tubman movie, which I assume when he signed up for it was like, oh, this is going to be a huge movie. It didn't wind up being that, but like,
damn, it really.
You know what I mean?
Been.
Like that was a big.
I mean,
it really should have been a huge movie. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take back what I was about to say. I'll take back what I was about to say. Okay, I'll take back what I'm about to say. I mean, I'm looking at Daveed and Renee, but you know what? It's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about that. You know what I'm saying?
Also, but bro, when you saw, I mean, she was angelic. Renee was great, but there was something about like Daveed was the fun character. You know, like there was like when he popped up, you were just like, oh snap, Daveed is on stage. Like, anybody who cast him after seeing Hamilton, they were just like, yeah, man, he's like your fun friend. Like you just love him.
No,
you just want to give him a hug when you saw him come out on stage.
It's just seeing all four of them in this movie. I'm looking at them and I'm like, these four actors, yes, I would call all four of them character actors, and I'm like, they all look good, but now we live in a world where I think character actors are now being allowed to lead movies. Like if I look at like Tom Holland,
Paul Giamatti,
yeah, but
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Wait, what movies is he leading?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
He's had a really good career. He leads TV shows.
Mentioned a character actor that I like.
But
I can't think of a single lead movie he did.
He's been
American
Graffiti?
Graffiti. Yeah.
Come on, man. Don't do that.
Wait,
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's like the only lead I can think of.
No, that's not the same, James. That's not the same.
But it is it's his only lead, isn't it? Or has he let
I mean, he has had co-leads. But what I'm saying is like if you look at actors, like even if you want to call people character actors, like if you look at like even a Tom Holland, like when he first started, he started doing indie movies just like Lucas Hedges, just like Kelvin, got the shot to do Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? Now he's a household name. He's a little bit different. You know, I'm like, and that happened quick.
Yeah, I mean, he was Spider-Man.
But that's my point. My point is he got that shot quickly.
Sideways was a Paul Giamatti. I mean,
well,
that was an ensemble.
I do agree with you there. Versus like Kelvin is getting to lead movies, but he's not getting the same Hollywood kind of respect and acclaim as a Timothée Chalamet, as a Lucas Hedges. You know, he definitely isn't. Like, and that's definitely because they just don't look at movies with black guys the same. Like, they just don't.
Yeah. Cause tell me between Luce and
Luce.
This movie, but performance-wise, like even performance-wise, Bray, like the type of characters he played in both of those movies. Like, again, I know I bring this up all the time. If I'm talking about if this is your Golden Globe or Oscar, like, and they're like, give it up for blah, blah, blah. There are ample scenes in this movie that I can say, hey, that scene was great. Like the scene, like, I mean, I hate to skip around, but my man, even at the beginning of this movie, seeing him go from the party stuff, and you're right, there's so many indie fancy shots in this movie, Bray. It is kind of annoying. But like the 360 in the car with like him and his girlfriend up top, like when he gets to the rest, first off, they were doing this 360 shot. It went from a 360 to the car to like a 360 around him.
American Splendor. Anna was like, hey, American Graffiti is a movie from the 70s. American Splendor is the movie I'm thinking of. That movie is still 17 years old, but...
Oh my God!
I don't even know what American Splendor is.
It's the comic. It was a comic one, but I'm saying, like, for instance, when we see him, you know, when we see his first interaction with his dad, and you could tell it's a kind of an aggressive relationship. Like, to me, like, it was so interesting seeing that, because in this movie, this black family, even though she was a stepmom, we didn't know yet, but this movie had a 2-parent household for black people. You know what I mean? He was in a white suburb. He was playing a quote unquote white sport. And none of that came down to like him being awkward or weird because he was a black dude with blonde hair, which again is never addressed. And we all know when a black guy goes blonde, he about to go crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was cool.
We all know this.
I mean, it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It's in history. It's in the history books. Okay. All right. It's the history books. That's why Cisco had to go platinum because he was like, I can't have this blonde. You know what I mean?
I get it. No, I get it.
But it's so interesting seeing that. But then even those scenes of, oh my God, the scene when he's at the doctor by himself and, you know, the doctor's like, hey, yeah, I can't see you making it through another match. He's like, yeah, but what about if we just wait? Like, what about if we just wait till after the season, you know, and I could take the summer? Like, it was so, like,
that was rough.
It was so sad. And he was, and Rachel brought this up. Like, we were watching the scene and he comes back drunk that first night and his sister's just holding him. That is, as a person who has been drunk and been like super sad, like the fact that his voice is not deep anymore, the fact that he's just apologizing to his sister for just like waking her up like that night and is crying, is like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean, like, you know, like that. There were just so many moments that felt real, and I'm like, God dang it, dude, you're so good in this.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. That I don't know if this is fair, but I really do think that who directed this movie?
Trey did, the writer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just feel like the storytelling, like, of it. I just wonder what it would have been like with a black director and writer, because I just feel like the storytelling of it just didn't humanize this character enough, especially knowing the fact that like audiences are like have been programmed to not relate to black people as much as they relate to white men. And because of that, it's like, we gotta see a little bit more. Like, this story has to be told, it doesn't have to be super conventional, but we just need a little bit more to like really connect with this guy. Like, we do connect with him in a way. But because everything's so sporadic and it's like scene by scene, like I like, you have to like fill in all the pieces for yourself. And it's like, yeah, you kind of feel like you fill some of this stuff in here and there. And I get it. The dad was like being very aggressive. A lot of dads are like this and it's not right, but not everyone who is subject to this kind of pushing from a parental figure does what this kid winds up doing. And so there was a part of me that was like, I'm confused. Like, why does he care? Like, why does he care this much about wrestling? Like, is this like, does he actually think in his mind, like, if I don't have wrestling, I don't have anything else? You know, we learned that, like, for a second, I was like, oh, maybe it's because his dad was a wrestler. But then his dad was like, I didn't choose wrestling. Like, you chose it. I just want you to be the best that you can be, you know, pushing him too hard, maybe not training, not getting him to listen to his body. But it felt like an extra step to be like, I'm just going to completely ignore, like, this doctor telling me, like, hey, if you do one more match, like, you're going to have like irreversible damage. It was just like, like,
I think it was, there was an extra step too. And like, I don't even actually see this as a movie of a kid that was pushed too hard by external pressures. Like, I don't think it was external pressures that led to it. I think he just made a bunch of mistakes. You know, but I think that the movie sort of brings up that, like, that's part of the thing that's tough. That's hard about it, is the people now thinking like, oh, did I push him too hard, or did you push him too hard, or, you know,
right.
But yeah,
there's something interesting about this, and I keep trying to think of movies that kind of relate to this, and I'm having a hard time. But it's something interesting about what you just said, Bray, and I think that may be the crux of this movie, or maybe why I didn't succeed. And I'm not saying that's what you said, so let me backtrack a little bit. But it's something about this movie having this black lead and knowing that white audiences don't relate to black people in this way makes it so that this movie has to, one, we're viewing it different because it's a black dude. Even though this black dude is doing the same thing, like, again, if you would have swapped parts, because I kept thinking about that in this movie, if you would have swapped Lucas and Kelvin's part, I'm like, would this movie feel more relatable with the amount of information that we have? And I think we would have. I think it would have been like, if this would have been a white boy, you'd have been like, oh man, his dad is, man, his world's crumbling. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a little bit of grace given to like white characters and not this one. And what scares me about that is that even I did it because I'm putting my blackness on it. Because I expect this black kid to move in a certain kind of way in this area. I'm like, bruh, the moment I was like, you can't be out here doing drugs and kikiing with these white kids like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you cannot do this. The fact that he goes to that house, I'm like, bruh, you cannot be seen yelling at this white girl in this house. Like, it's so much because like like what his dad said, we're not allowed to do this kind of thing, even though he is doing a thing that a 17, 18-year-old kid who is a job popular kid could spiral into. But he's just not allowed to do it because of what his skin looks like. And I'm like, God dang it. So does that mean for this movie to have been successful, I think Bray is right. I think you would have had to have a black writer come in and even add an extra layer onto this movie, into the script, because we cannot get past his race in a way. You know what I mean? Like he just can't be a black kid. I mean, he just can't be a kid because he's a black kid. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be taken into account. And that sucks a little bit. Like that. But I get it.
It does suck.
But that sucks. But I get it.
It sucks, but it's like, this is the really difficult thing about like all of this. Because I'm not a person who's like, oh, if you're white, you shouldn't write black characters into your movie. I think I saw somebody tweet that. I was just like, this is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Like, of course you want white people to write like characters that aren't just their race, because then we would have what we've had in the past, which is just films full of white people, and the only black people are the people who are like serving you coffee. You know what I mean? Like, cleaning your room.
I think that tweet that actually got popular was actually said, stop writing. It said to white people, stop writing black characters. Like, it just said, stop doing it. And it was like, what? For what
like,
cause?
No,
no, we need them to write black characters.
They absolutely need people to write. Yeah. But I will say that, like, it's because everything is about a certain level of truth. There is a certain level of truth that, like, the reality is, if you are black in America, everything isn't exactly the same as a white person. And so there are extra little things that you do have to make sure that you're acknowledging, even if it's not all about your race, you know.
Yeah.
There's something about this, like, I'm like, now they were like, he was clearly rich, right? This family was like living in a very big house. Like, he had his own car at 18 years old. It was a nice car. It looked like a new car. Like, you know, the parties he's going to are like, these are very extravagant. So I'm like, okay, they're clearly in an upper echelon, you know, not like super wealthy, but they're well off, you know? And so that's a different thing. And so he has that kind of privilege. We only had that one scene where the dad is essentially saying, you need to be 10 times better. But there's also something else to that, which is like, it seemed like these parents were oblivious that this kid was like drinking or, and again, I don't know if the drugs he was taking painkillers. Like, what were? Did you ever get a sense of what
Sterling,
they were?
I think they work. Because Sterling at one point goes, and I think Sterling knew because he asked the wife. He's like, "Hey, have you been taking any of my painkillers?" And she goes like, "No, why?" And he looks up and he goes, "Never mind," and just walks off. In the movies, I think he knew.
I don't know. There was something that I wouldn't have wanted this movie to be. I wouldn't have wanted a black pass on this movie. I don't like, even though I do think that there is something off when you watch it, but to a degree, like that scene when Sterling says like, I'm pushing it because you have to be 10 times better. Within the context of this movie, doesn't feel like those scenes. Doesn't feel like, I'm going to use another Kelvn movie as an example, but like in The High Note, when when Tracee Ellis Ross is like, I'm a black woman, and then she has like a monologue about being black, and you're like, I didn't need like, why is this in here? This is useless. Because of like the rendering of this, of like the sort of the quick cuts, and the scenes are painfully short, and like we're only going to spend a little bit of time in them. There was something nice for me about like how he's being pushed, and like we see them at church, and like there are things about them that like feel familiar and black to me.
Oh my God, that stare down.
And then, and then we just kind of move past it. And I don't know, to me, it felt like while they are aware of these things, it felt like, it was because of their state, because of where they are, like it wasn't that big of a concern. And I believe that there are black families out there that are like that.
I mean, every time I go to Florida, I realize I'm in Florida. The crazy stuff happens in Florida.
I don't mean the state they live in. I meant their state in life. Like,
I mean, things felt real to me. Like, I feel like that conversation with the dad felt real. Even how it was portrayed, like the conversation. Woof. The when he's on the computer doing homework and he sees a text, I'm late, and he's like, late for what? Like, oh my God, that text exchange, oh God, Supreme Court, we're fucked. Them driving to I'm guessing Planned Parenthood or wherever they were going, and just the security guard coming in and giving them the warning of like, yo, these people will do this, these people will say that to you. They help her adopt that kid. Like, just don't go fucking with them to make it worse for me. Like, that whole conversation. Like, the argument in the car, I'm like, all right, he was wilding. But then the text message when they both were like, we miss each other. And then it spiraled so quickly when she was like, I made my decision. And I'm like, oh, my chest.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
That was the thing. I guess that particular, when she was like, I made my decision, he's like, what is it? Like, all right, you promise you won't get mad. And he's like, yeah, just tell me. Now, he knows that she's about to say I'm keeping it, because why else would she say don't get mad?
You got to know, bro.
So, and then he's like immediately text like capital, like yelling at her on the text. And I'm like, even for a kid who's like, oh my God, I'm about to ruin my life. Like, I don't understand how you have the exact same response that didn't work the last time, this time. You can even in text message, like, I understand calling. I understand him being like, hey, like, call me back. But what I didn't understand was his first text back was like, what did you do? Or something. And I'm like, bro, you, before you get mad, at least like pretend like you're going to care so that you can then talk her into. I don't know. There was something about that in particular that I was like, it feels like the movie needed to escalate just a little bit more quickly than it would have happened. But maybe not. I don't know.
That felt so, honestly, for me, that felt so honest. Like this whole, like even thinking about it now, like that, because again, like, when you're dating someone, it's like, yeah, you want to.
You feel like you would have yelled right away?
I think I would have not known what. I think I would have spazzed. Because my thing is, like, I always want to say, like, I'm going to learn from my last mistake, and I will do my fucking best. But when it pops up and you're not thinking, it's like, oh shit, I just did the same thing again. Also, if it's something as big as I am about to be 17, 18 with a kid, like, fuck.
And especially because that scene was silent, like, because it was just through text. I don't know. I mean, I know that it's a lot of like, you're putting a lot of your things on it. But when I was watching that, I was just like, yeah, like maybe they can talk this out. And she's like telling him that he's just going to be a jerk. And like, maybe he's just like, no, I just want to talk. He was gonna yell at her, right? Like we've seen it already before, but then there's also, I don't know, there was a feeling of
no
like,
one was talking to him.
That was my thing though, was like, when she said I'm keeping it, why was his first text response all caps? I was like, yo, you know how she's going to respond to that.
Listen,
that's your first text response is all caps. You don't even have to do that. You could be mad and you ain't even there. You could just be like, baby, can you please call me back? Like, and like, even though you're typing it like, baby, you better call me back, but you can still, You got the
Yeah.
phone.
You're a rational man. You ain't an 18-year-old
You can
dude.
hide your emotion.
But I think that is what happened, isn't it? Like she said, I'm keeping it. He sent a text back. This text wasn't all caps. He called. She didn't answer. Then he all caps. What did you do?
Like this,
I
right?
thought the first text back was all caps.
This is
I thought it was that order. It was.
But yeah,
it was
it's
only.
just-
It was fast. It was still
yeah.
quick. But it was like. But there was like one. There was like one buffer between the between the all caps and the.
And
I'm
again,
keeping it.
this isn't a defense of him because at the end of the day, Bray, you are right. Like there should be
Yeah,
some
he
type of
kills her.
couth and quorum, like
Yeah.
to end. Like he didn't.
Now, do you think he went to go kill her? Because
No.
that's a immediate. Like when he started driving to the house, she was like, he's gonna go kill her. And I was like, whoa, kill her.
I was scared. I was
I
scared
was
the
like,
moment
that's
he got.
extreme.
I was scared the moment he saw that photo on Instagram. I was like,
Mhm.
I was nervous because the thing is, I knew something bad was about to
So
happen.
that's because
Yeah.
that's why he got murdered in the second degree. Was they were saying like, no, he did have an intent to kill. Like it wasn't an accident.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even. To me, I wasn't like he's going to kill her. And but I mean, considering so
I
many
knew-
people were like, yeah.
I knew something bad was going to happen because my thing is like, if you're already mad, right? You're already mad. You already feel alone. You have nobody like you're talking to. This was the big he had a discussion about this particular dance. Like she's had to dress forever. Like I hope she's happy. Like they had this discussion. His sister is there. Like he's at home, and like all he knows is from this photo. She in this jump with this other dude having the best time of her goddamn life, and and like now he's in a drinking bender, and I'm like, bruh, with his arm in a sling. And so it's like, yo, this was never going to end well. I didn't think he was going to try to kill her, but I definitely thought like. This is what I thought. We had saw her hit him before. We saw him spit, which I think is a very white boy thing. Like I don't know, black dudes just be spitting on people. I feel like that's not a black.
I love how
thing.
just things happen. You're like, no, this is a white.
The moment it happened, I was like, this ain't a black dude thing.
That's
anyway.
Trey wrote that line.
I was like, yeah, this ain't him. But I was like, all right, so we know that their relationship is physical to an extent, right? And I'm like, my man is lit. He does not need to be in his house because I'm like, yo, if they get into an argument, my man is big. Like, who's gonna be able to like? I thought something like this was gonna go down. Like, you know,
He cornered her. I mean, he literally physically cornered her,
Yeah.
prevented her from leaving. Like her slapping him wasn't like some like, well, she hit him first. Like, no, he was like physically
Absolutely
grabbing
not.
her. You know what I mean? Like,
no. To me, the moment he got in that house, my God, and you knew it was gonna happen. The moment he was like, "I'm going," and the mom tried to stop him, and he just started going off on the mom like that, like you weak, you're pathetic. I was like, yo, what? And then the dad with the bad knee, and we know he got the
was
knee.
on it.
Oh my gosh! I was like, and the thing is,
I know he pushed his father over.
as a parent, you know something bad has happened. Like you know, like you don't know everything, but something has pushed him to this limit. You don't see your son the way you used to anymore. And the fact that Sterling K is like searching after him now and just doesn't get there in time. Oh man. And then he punches. Oh my God, the punch. Oh my goodness. The way they shot that was crazy. I can't.
When
Yeah.
she landed,
Oh my God.
sincerely, I was gonna stop watching. I was gonna stop watching. I was like, okay, the movie must be almost over. I looked, there was an hour and 10 minutes left.
I hated it.
I was like, I'm gonna have to live with this. I was so mad.
I mean, I thought this whole
I guess
scene.
I just didn't know. I like what.
What else? What else is going on?
What did you take? What like from the? Because we have to talk about the second half of the movie. What from this first half of the movie? Like, what do you take away from that trajectory that he went through? Like, what is the takeaway from that?
I mean, to me, what it shows is like, it shows how a life can spiral very quickly, yo. Like, if things go left unsaid, again, I know you don't feel like there was a lot of pressure, but even if there was some, like, you didn't see him confiding in friends. Like, the biggest moment you saw him ever say anything to anybody was the day he was crying and drunk with his sister. It's like, things can get really, really bad really fast. That's what I took away from it. And to me, it's like 2 lives were
Like he
lost.
was living in his own head.
Yeah, like to me, like when that scene ended, 2 lives were gone. Like
Well,
three
that's true.
lives were gone. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
Oh yeah, the baby.
Yeah.
it's just like, it was just, God, dog, the moment he was like, I'm going, you felt it. I was like, and then at that point, when we see the sister seeing him at the party, I was like, oh no, what about her? I guess I know it's very annoying to have this whole other hour. And I bet there was a better way to do it, but I did like that this traumatic event happened, and then we got to see how this, like, what happens to this family, what happened to the sister who was there. Like, in my mind, the moment I saw her, I was like, whatever goes down, she will blame herself. Like, I knew it instantly. This dad is going to blame himself. The mom is going to blame the dad. You know, like those things, I was like, this is going to happen, but what did they do? So I like that we saw that. Maybe you would have had to have that garage scene sooner in the movie, so it wasn't like an hour of this and then an hour of that. But I think I was okay with it because the other scene was so beautiful. The other half was so beautiful.
I was also ultimately okay with that being the structure. My frustration was with like, oh my God, I have to deal with like he's killed this woman and that's really sad. But I think I like that they were like, yeah, let's tell these 2 complete sides of this. For me, as somebody who was just like excited to see the acting, it was like, well, yeah, now we get to, we know that Lucas Hedges is in the movie. We know that Taylor Russell's in the movie. We haven't spent enough time with them, and now the movie sort of gets handed off to them, you know. And it's I don't know. The rendering of it I thought was nice.
She was so sweet, man, and the fact that like, and I knew it, the fact that she didn't have any social, I was like, these people are probably going to like call her every name out the book and like blame her, like how could like, and the fact that she told Lucas like, you know, I had to delete it all. You know,
yeah.
I had to delete it.
Oh, and I loved when she was looking through the Instagram, and we just see on the posts with Kelvin and the girlfriend,
yeah,
that they're just like trashing him. And it was like such a like it was like, yeah,
that's
like
so real.
It was so real because these people don't know what was going on at all. One of them was like, he probably beat her all the time, and it was just like, oh my God, like you don't know anything, and like now that's the whole internet, the whole world is like, yep.
But that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the internet. That's what the internet does. That's what happens on the internet constantly, daily. We're all guilty of it. People do it all the time. It's like there's a situation, you know, it could be like this is a microcosm of what happens on a like national scale when there's like some situation, some news story that we all read about, and then everyone fills in like, well, this must have happened. It was I bet this thing and this person is like this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's just gossip because nobody knows anything. You're just talking about things that you have no real information about. And then, yeah, of course that happens like on a smaller scale with this stuff. Like, I can't even imagine what she had to go through. And it's so cruel because it's like, even if you are angry at him, which makes, I understand that anger. Why are you taking it on what's the sister have anything to do with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but that is how people are.
Could you imagine still having to go to that school? Like, if
no,
you were her,
I didn't understand why she didn't switch schools. I would have left. I don't think I could have stayed in that school.
Like, I mean, stay in a school. I mean, this daughter had to stay in the school. Her bedroom connected to her brother, and like, I'm assuming the timeline is super quick. So like, his stuff is still in the bathroom. His stuff is still.
His stepmom can't handle it.
Yep, the stuff is still in that room, and the door isn't closed. You know what I mean? Like I had one of my friends. His mother died, and every time we went to his house, because he stayed in the house for a really long time, you would go upstairs and the door would be closed. It was at the top of the steps. The door would always be closed, and it's like, man, this door being closed is still a reminder. I can't imagine still having to go to the bathroom and seeing like the Ben Gay from like when he was playing sports sitting in there, or like the trophies across the hall. And you could tell they were close. It was just something so sweet. And the one thing I do want to skip ahead because I know we've been talking forever. When she is talking to Sterling when they're fishing. Bro, that scene broke me.
That was great.
That scene broke me, yo.
Yeah.
That scene.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was just so much unsaid, and they finally talk about it. They both finally, like, you realize, like, so she thought it was her fault, and the stepmom just blamed the dad, and the dad probably did feel guilty about himself, was like, but defending himself as well. Like, that's always a hard thing.
And you see this dad break down
tough,
in front of his daughter. And, and
when
it's
when she's like, if I would have just gotten up, and it's such a, when people feel like they didn't do anything and they could have done something. There's so many things that you make up in your mind, like anything could have happened if you would have gotten up. Not necessarily stop him.
No,
like
it could have been worse.
But the thought, it could have been way worse.
It could have been
But the
worse.
thought is, I would have changed it. If I would have gone up there, I would have stopped him. And it's like, no,
and because she felt like she should have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She felt at the time, she was like, I should go get my brother because I know he's not in a right frame of mind. But she didn't do anything because she was probably scared of him. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know if she should, and she froze and she didn't do anything. Yeah. And then she felt guilty about it. Ugh, man, that was tragic.
I mean, and then they see the dad, and you know what it is, and I will say this, I've been accused of this before by John, like just reaching for scraps. It's like, it's so cool to see this black dad in this scene with a daughter, like, and feel some type of remorse.
Oh, that was
and like
great.
break down, because how often do we see, like, how, again,
we don't. We never see it.
He's just
I've never seen this scene in a movie.
No, and he's and again, this something deeper about this. And I noticed we're saying how this movie isn't about blackness, and maybe this is where some of the black pass up on the script where Braylock was talking about is like, there is something about both of these black dudes apologizing for feeling. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes, like, because you have to be so tough in the world, you have to be pushed so hard. It's like, as black guys, you don't necessarily get a chance to be vulnerable. And like, these dudes are crying almost parallel scenes, if you will, between the brother and the dad. And both times, as they are just talking to the sister, apologizing for just like being weak in front of her. Like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking to you. I'm so sorry. Like, the dad is saying this to this daughter. And then you see, as she's driving back, he's just looking at her. Like that. Man, this movie, the fact that this movie got no love makes me so mad.
I feel like if this movie was like 30 minutes shorter.
I mean, yeah, it definitely, it was long.
I don't know. It's just, but yeah, there was a lot of great scenes in it. That's the thing that I think that's the thing for me ultimately, was that this movie had a lot of great scenes, but it felt slightly disjointed. And because there was so much air in it, it was just like, it takes time to get to those things. And then I'm like, yeah. But to be fair, Boyhood got a lot of love, and that movie was exactly the same thing. It was
oh man,
some cool scenes. But like a lot of it was just like, I don't need to see this. Like, this is pointless.
It's like, yeah,
that movie got a lot of love.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we recorded it over this kid's lifetime. So, I mean, his acting was good. So, no one came out there and was like, oh, this is a best act. So,
but some people love that movie.
What part? What did it?
I don't know. They just liked it.
Man, Sterling K. Brown.
I will say, yeah.
Sorry, no, you go ahead. You go ahead. This movie just made me mad.
Oh, I was gonna say I do like the end. I like the fact that that the sister wound up basically doing what she needed to do herself, but did it through, her boyfriend, Lucas Hedges' character was like, hey, yeah, your father did some really crappy things. She doesn't even say this. It just happened. She's like, hey, we should go visit your dad. He's dying of cancer. And they go there, the dad, and, he's like, yeah, you don't have any regrets, right? And he was like, kind of, and he cries, and they hold each other, and you realize, like, the dad was like, holding on to this regret of like, oh, I like really screwed up relationship with my son, and then he gets kind of some closure there, and he dies like basically the next morning. So there's like some forgiveness there, some healing. His life gets to move on. Both of their lives kind of get to move on a little bit. I liked that. I was slightly confused by, we see her text the stepmom and say, I'll explain, like this was really important, I'll explain later. We never get that explanation scene.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite tell if the stepmom, if they then have that scene off screen and that's when the stepmom decides to go and visits him in jail. But I also didn't understand, I wasn't getting the sense that the stepmom was the one who was like holding back this unforgiveness or whatever. Like, I thought the sister was going to go visit her brother in jail. We don't see that.
Yeah.
There was a moment where he was in jail and he's like looking at he was like looking at something, and at first I was like, oh, she wrote to him. And then we see it's like the picture of the girlfriend, and I was like, oh. And then we like quickly see the girlfriend's parent, the dead girlfriend's parents, like at the grave. I didn't quite understand why we saw that, because there was no other context to that situation either.
I thought that was just to show.
You get that?
I thought it was a back way to show that why he's in a maximum security prison, to show that he was 18. That's just how I took it. It just, because I think it was to show like, yeah, I think it was just to show he was 18. That's why he was in that maximum security prison. Like he's in jail with adults. That's all I took it back.
Oh, I thought I got it. I thought we got that already from the court sentencing. The court sentencing was, I was like, whoa, they charged him for second-degree murder. They gave him life.
Yeah, dude.
Which feels like way intense. And he was like, technically this sentence is with mercy. And I was like, and it's like 30-year parole, which I was like, God, like he is guaranteed to spend 30 years.
He will be almost 50.
I get it that he took another human life, but it was like, I was like, was it? I don't know. There was a thing, and this movie doesn't really explore this, so I don't even know if it was necessarily touching on it, but I was thinking about it because we see the parents in the courtroom. They kind of look over like slightly. The two parents never look at each other, but they hear like this guy's the stepmom's crying like the loudest, right? Not because she thinks her son is innocent, but just because his life is gone. And so now we're, like Jerah said, we're seeing the witness of like another parent's grieving their lives, but we see the other parents and they don't seem happy. They're not like, I was just thinking about the fact that like, it doesn't make up for anything.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, that's like, this person needs to face consequences, but there's something about this justice system that's like, okay, so we throw his life away now as well. And then does anybody feel better?
I mean, because
like,
think about it.
Is the world safer? I don't know. It's just like so this real. Sad. They're all sad now.
Because one of the one of the earliest scenes, besides the scene where like they rush to the hospital, is like the son with their daughter at the daughter's house. I mean, at the girlfriend's house, like happy with the family having dinner. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, this sucks for everybody, because you realize, like, I mean, literally a month ago, they were over at the house laughing and joking and having kumbaya. You know what I mean? So I think it is very, very dire. And it's just like, as far as the mom going to the jail, I feel like that was I am very curious to know why we didn't see that scene, because again, like, she was the one who tried to stop him. He probably said the worst things to her than between the dad. So I was very curious about that. I think the reason she goes to the room, though, is because the daughter does say, like, I explain when I get back, but I just want to say I'm thankful for, like, you being in my life and you raising me. Like, I love you. So I think, like, that little bit of kindness probably helped the mom a little bit. You know what I mean? Because at that point, you feel like you failed. Like, you feel like you failed your kid. Your kid is in, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was one of the last things he said to her was, like, you're not my mom. Like,
you're not like my mom.
Yeah. I mean, listen, but go ahead.
Right.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I get that, but I guess I wanted more. I wanted this thing that the sister did, because it was like, she was the one who was like, it seemed like helping the healing. She the dad reached out to her, got her to talk, got her to like actually open up, which was nice. And then she got Lucas Hedges to go over, to the to his father or whatever. So I was like, I wanted to see her interact with her brother one more time. I didn't understand why we didn't get to see that, because that felt strange to me, because I was like, she's not forgetting about her brother. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like, and when she was talking to the father, she was like, I hate him. He's a monster. You know, like she was mad at her brother. So I wanted to see. She is resolved by the end of the movie. She's like she's literally doing the most indie film thing possible, which is riding down a street on a bicycle with her hands in the air. Like, you know what I mean? Like that classic, like, and I'm like, all right, she's free now, but we didn't get to see. I was like, so she just got complete release through
Lucas Hedges.
What do you call that?
Which
like
is odd.
Else?
Yeah.
I wish it would have ended with the two of them, like, at the prison and her talking. Like, it would just like not even them having a conversation. If the shot was just like, if you saw Kelvn behind the glass,
or the whole family there, would have been nice, honestly.
Yeah, and it just it just started with the pickup of the phone.
Yeah,
and that'd have been a perfect out.
It would have been nice to see the entire family go visit him in prison. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know what the rules are, but if they could have all been there, and seen him. I'm sure there was budgetary restrictions to this, by the way, too. But if they could have all been there, it would have just been, that would have felt, I feel like that's what they were trying to do anyway. But I feel like that would have been a little bit more powerful to me. Anyway.
I mean, listen, Hollywood, I'm going to just say this real quick. I don't bang with how y'all treating these people, okay? I really don't. Like I have no, it bothers me, yo. Like, it really bothers me. It bothers me how we treat, like, half of these little young white actors, man. Legit. Like, we done sat here talked about Lucas Hedges. We done talked about Timothée Chalamet. We done talked about, bruh, there is no reason in the world Kelvn should not be getting some of the same stuff they get. I just don't get it. Like, I really, really don't get it. And I know he has a bit part in the new Netflix movie, the Chicago 7 or something like that, but he ain't one of the leads. You know what I mean? Like, my man isn't getting his own superhero movies out of this, And I think it is because of what, I think that's the thing. I think it's because of what Braylock hinted at. I think because we are not used to sympathizing with Black leads in a way that is very humanistic. Like, I feel like when we have a Black lead in a movie, it is something usually racial, it is something usually drug related, or it is something that's like, some white person trying to save the day. What is that movie with Sandra Bullock? The football one, and she got to go. They helped the little Black dude. Blindside. But she won the Oscar and stuff like that. I think it has to be a movie like that, which again is about some type of subservient, like, Black person. Like, we're a slave. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not normal. The fact that it's so hard to relate to Black people on a normal, humanistic level bothers me. And it's a thing that until Hollywood has more movies where we can play just a dude as a family man, or we can have the quirky Black guy that's in an indie that doesn't have it all together, or, the girl next door is actually a Black girl and not just the blonde, cutesy woman who's like, oh, what's happening? It's like, that is when things will actually change. So, like, when I see these movies, like, I know there's superhero movies right now in the fantasy. When I see, like, a Yara get to play a Tinkerbell, when I get to see Alice get to play Hawkman, it's like, we are now just not making the Black version of a thing. We're now Black people in the world. That is just in the world. When I see, like, they're like, oh, we're going to do the Black version of Golden Girls or the Black version of Friends. That's cool. But just have Black people in the world of Friends and in the world of Golden. There is no reason that if Friends is in New York, they ain't got one Black friend. Not a neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Gunther, the dude at the coffee shop, is still white and blonde. Gunther couldn't have been Leroy. You know what I'm saying? Golden Girls couldn't have had Irene. Not one of these little old white ladies had a Black friend. They all lived in a house. Man. Anyway.
I mean, not to take anything away from this movie, but it made me mad that Lucas Hedges came in and sort of saved, like, he, in a way, allowed
I get
Taylor
it.
Russell to have her released. That was kind of frustrating. I mean, I know there was a
Yeah.
swirl in this movie, and we support that. But like, why he had to like halfway through the movie, a white dude shows up and then
I
shows
know.
her grace, and then had to deal with that for a little bit.
I don't want
That
to
was a
bring it
little
up.
frustrating.
I don't want
And
to
I'm
It was like a proxy healing.
Yeah. And I don't do bits anymore. So I'm just going to say one more
I don't know
time.
why you're
There's
yelling.
an
Yeah, why?
entire page dedicated to Lucas Hedges. Accolades. I'm so mad at this. Listen, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I like Lucas Hedges. My man can act. He can act his way out. I would watch him read the phone book. I would. I ain't gonna lie. He would probably do some like, he'd probably be all sweaty and be like, hey, Alexander Armadillo. You know what I mean? And it'd be like all like,
Armadillo?
it would be good. I would watch it. Yeah, the versus name. But I'm saying there's a whole page dedicated to his awards. That's so frustrating to me. I'm so mad at this.
No, man, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong, man.
He's a good actor.
Is there a page dedicated to? Hold on, I'll look. Let me look at Michael B. Jordan. There probably is. I'm gonna look.
But you're right about that.
Hey, it's Black Men Can't Jump. In the last year, we've all been surprised by a lot. One of the biggest surprises is that more and more people actually want to talk about race.
Yeah, I mean, talking about race is hard. We know because we do it all the time. But these conversations aren't impossible, they're necessary.
Yes, Do the Work is a new weekly podcast hosted by actor and activist Brandon Kyle Goodman that invites all of us to have an honest conversation about race.
Each episode, you'll meet two people, friends, partners, coworkers, who have an uncomfortable, offensive, or sometimes even racist moment that they want to work through.
Brandon, along with author and racial justice educator Debbie Irving, will untangle these moments so we can all learn how to have these tough conversations with our own loved ones.
And we'll get real takeaways of how to be better allies in our own lives.
Everyone has bias, so let's talk about it.
Well, I don't, but yeah, I know. I mean,
Wait, what?
guys.
Wait,
No,
what?
no, I'm just kidding. I do. Join the conversation on Do the Work, available wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, everyone. Is there something interfering with your happiness, maybe preventing you from achieving your goals?
BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist.
You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online.
Look, we're in this kind of pandemic, election, earth is burning, race war, ongoing crisis. But you also need to just live. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be available locally in many areas. And the service is available for clients worldwide.
You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get a timely and thoughtful response. Plus, you can schedule weekly videos, phone sessions, so you won't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room with the traditional, therapy. Like, we're cooler than that,
It's more affordable than traditional online counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit their website and read their testimonials that are posted daily at betterhelp.com/reviews.
If you visit betterhelp.com/jump, that's better HELP, you can join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And by using that offer code, JUMP, you get 10% off your first month. So betterhelp.com/jump.
Hey everyone, it's Jamie Lee
and Rose Cerno
from the wonderful Sex and the City podcast. Couldn't help but wonder.
We analyze the show, you might have heard of it, Sex and the City, through the lens of our own very messy lives. And
wait, we're not messy, are we?
I mean, I'm definitely messy.
Okay, yeah, no, we are.
We started this podcast because we are ginormous fans of Sex and the City. It has changed culture. Every show you like now basically started with Sex and the City, but it hasn't aged well in all areas.
There are parts that really hold up and parts not so much.
So we talk about the show, but we also bring the show into 2020 and we analyze it with this modern lens.
So please check out and subscribe to Couldn't Help But Wonder only on the Forever Dog Podcast Network. And also you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CHBWPod.
The world is hard. Don't think of us as a guilty pleasure. Think of us as a consummate pleasure, a tingle for your toes that goes into a full body eargasm.
New episodes every Tuesday coming at ya.
All right. Well, as you look, we'll do the cause.
Okay,
Time for the
great.
cause. We rate and review films not based on how much we like them, but whether or not they help the cause of more leading black actors in Hollywood. If you think a film fully helps the cause, we give it a black fist. If you think it somewhat helped the cause, we give it a white palm. If you think, hey, I don't know, the movie didn't really help the cause at all, we don't give it anything. All right? Count of 3, we're going to do our ratings.
All right.
1, 2, 3. All right. I gave it a fist. James gave it a fist, and Jerah gave it a white palm.
I gave it a palm.
I'll say why.
Okay, you go first.
Yeah, you go at the end. I gave it a fist because it was the even though this movie wasn't seen by a lot of people, I do think that these roles for Kelvin and for Taylor were very beneficial for their careers. Like even though they didn't get the awards or whatever, I do think people know about the film. A24 just has this like good track record of these types of movies. I think it was helpful, beneficial for them, and that's why I gave it this.
Same. I just thought the acting in this was really, really good, and I just want to see more. I mean, obviously, I personally don't want to see more of these movies because I don't like them, but I want to see more of these movies being made. I also just want to say there isn't a page dedicated to Michael B. Jordan's awards. It's not a page worth. Fuck everything. Fuck awards.
Well, what award? Yeah.
Well, so yeah, he just doesn't have as many. I mean, like he has, Fruitvale has a few. Creed has a few. Black Panther, he has a bunch for Black Panther is his biggest. But like Manchester by the Sea and just every movie that Lucas Hedges has ever done has a nomination. So I can't believe this.
I mean, I gave it a palm. I wanted to give it a fist because I did like it. I mean, I think again, I did enjoy the movie. I think it's good. But, and I didn't want to talk about it, but James brought it up. I could not give the movie a fist because of Lucas Hedges' character. I couldn't do it
because of his character, because of his whole character.
Couldn't do it because to me it is something about he did. No, I take it back. It is something about like he became a white savior in this movie. He appeared out of nowhere, literally appeared out of nowhere, and then was one of the big factors in changing her thought process. Whether it was by proxy of like her seeing, how he dealt with his dad and like her forcing him to do it, being like, all right, you should go do this. I will drive. And I understand that was a part of her, but it is something about even before getting to that point, finally having the freedom, going to like the beach, like going on these drives. Again, if we hadn't seen this in so many movies, I think I would be okay with it. But the fact that this literal white dude, and I know he had like one quick scene early on when like he's wrestling with Kelvin, and then another scene when he bumps into her, and he just appeared like my girl's just sitting there, bro, and he just walks up out of nowhere, and that's it, and he's just now around the entire movie. And the thing is, like now, not only do we not see her deal with her actual family, we actually see him deal with his, and whether or not, depending on how you look at it, whether that's not because of her or whatever, but at the end of the day, she decides to deal with her family openly and directly after we have now followed him for a few scenes of dealing with his dad and his family. A dude that at the end of the day, we have not heard about for the first half of this movie. Like, I ain't heard about this nigga Lucas Hedges. Like, why do I, like, cool. Like, why am I dealing with him and his family? Like, yeah, I feel bad, but like, These niggas went through some real shit. I spent an hour with them. An hour. And now I got to talk about him and his dad? Bruh. So
Michael B. Jordan has more awards, but he doesn't have a page dedicated to his awards.
Okay.
All right. Well, all right.
What do you say? You're talking
about Wikipedia? I'm talking about Wikipedia.
Just make a page. If you made a page, it'll be there. Just black people don't make pages for Wikipedia.
He doesn't have any Oscar or Golden Globe nominations, and I think that's the difference.
That's wild.
That's the difference is that he doesn't have.
And Lucas Hedges does.
Yeah, he got nominated for Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, it was Manchester by the Sea that did it, but I think he also might have a couple others within that. Like it's like Manchester by the Sea and maybe one more.
I'm sorry his own About a Boy.
Yeah, he has his own. He does though. He has his own
his movie. His About a Boy is called Boy Erased.
Yeah, Boy Erased.
I've seen that,
I told you they all have their own.
Yeah,
I say About a Boy, but it's a movie about a boy. There's some movie where boy is in the title. It's Beautiful Boy. It's Boy Erased.
Well, you know what?
It's Boyhood.
They fucked up. This movie should have been called Wrestling Boy.
If this movie was called, Waves Boy, Wrestling Boy,
Waves Boy,
Boy in the Burbs. Boy in the Burbs, you know what I'm saying? They fucked up.
I honestly think Wrestling Boy or Boy Wrestler, besides being definitely the title of a porn, would have made more money, would have done better.
Boy in the Burbs, Black Boy.
There's something about it. They're like, oh, our poor white little boys. That's the thing. Anyway, anywho. All right. Well, 2 Black Fists, 1 White Palm. Thank you guys for listening. You could follow us at Black Man Podcast, Twitter, Instagram. BlackmanPodcast.com is our website. You could check our defunct Patreon. We have a year's worth of episodes on there. So if you've never listened to it, hey, pay $5, get a listen, unsubscribe, whatever you want. We do have, remember that Forever Dog. What is it called? Forever Dog Plus. We just did an ad.
Forever Dog Plus, baby.
Forever
Dog Plus.
FD Plus.
There you go.
Yeah, just remember that you can listen to the show ad-free on Forever Dog Plus.
Yeah. And if you give us 5 stars on iTunes, we will read your review on the air. This one is by, let's see, I don't think I read this. Pepe La Cruz. Thank you for existing. I discovered y'all from Blank Check and John's episode of Newcomers. And so glad I did. I've been listening to 8 episodes a day. Wow. Sitting on my couch all day working from home, and it's been getting me through it. I love a new hilarious podcast that also has tons of super insightful takes, especially since 90% of podcasts are just a couple of white dudes. My only complaint is that the episodes aren't daily and 2 hours long.
Honestly, I appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Peace.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production, executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. To listen to this podcast ad-free, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcasts.com/plus. Check out video clips of our podcasts on YouTube at youtube.com/foreverdogteam. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Forever Dog Team to keep up with all of the latest Forever Dog news.